the city, we'll do as much as we can, but we will be addressing property owners about doing something about that. And we want to start putting it out. We will send out a notice to the newspaper, because what happens is when you start on it aggressively, and I'm sure Mr. Smith and Mr. Bowen can tell you that, all of a sudden people act like they didn't know it, they didn't hear anything about it. So we're going to give fair warning. We're going to start on the corridors. On Montgomery Road, if you got abandoned property, fallen in property, property is overgrown, we're coming knocking on your door. Montgomery Road, Franklin Road, and particularly Highway 80. Then we're going to the off streets. So if there's something that needs to be addressed in your neighborhood, let us know. Let your council person know, and we'll put priorities on the list. So one of the things I'll speak about in a few minutes, I was very encouraged to see some people cleaning up on Old Montgomery Road. But we've got to address these issues. And some of them are absentee owners. Absentee or not, we're going to do our part. We have the authority to do some things. We don't plan to sit on it. And we will help anybody do anything that they can that's within the power and authority of the city. But Ms. Dawn, we're going to try to do what we can.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing forth. Thank you, City Manager, for taking note in this Perry District 3. Mr. Adams.
My name is Melvin Adams. I'm in District 3.
I simply want to share with you how encouraged I was this week as we went about throughout the city. There were several overgrown properties in major locations that people are starting to address. And that's a very positive sign, because we're not going to be able to address everything as a city. A lot of this is private property. So when we see people cleaning up properties, it's very encouraging. Just yesterday, I noticed that the old City Bank building, which was a Thomas Reed property, was cleaned up. The house across the street, which had weeds as tall as I am, literally, walking up to the front door, was cleaned up. You go down around the curve just past Catholic school, somebody's renovating that property. So we want to encourage anyone and everyone in the city to do what you can to clean up the property that you may have or have an interest in, the properties next door, and share with us anyone who is interested in cleaning up their properties. It really does a lot for our city and will help us as we move along. As I said, we'll be doing our part. We want to give notice that we will be following up, particularly on the corridors, to address those who have abandoned houses or abandoned properties, because we want to clean those up. We want to make it look better as you come into the city, especially to the university, because the National Historic Sites are there. That's where people come in first. So Old Montgomery Road, Franklin Road, and Montgomery Highway, Highway 80, Martin Luther King, get ready. Please be prepared. Do what you can ahead of time, because when we come, we're going to be asking for a specific timeline and giving some deadlines towards getting things cleaned up and improved. I do want to recognize our City Council, the entire Council, and thank them for their participation in the ethics training at the National League of Municipalities. Was that last week? Last Thursday. I particularly thank them because every one of the council members attended and participated, along with two persons. The board, newly elected member, Mr. Ulysses Roberts, who was there and went through training, as well as Chairman of the Utilities Board, Mr. Harold Washington. Following that activity, I was able to take part in part of it. I received an advanced certification of certified municipal official after 8 hours of training. I was very pleased to get an award there and in recognition, not necessarily for myself, but for an advancement of understanding of what our responsibilities are, what authority we have, what we can and cannot do. That's what this pen is. Here it's an advanced certified municipal official. You saw some of our previous council person, woman Moon, progressed through it pretty rapidly. So I'm trying to follow in her pattern, Councilwoman Moon, and I received advanced certified municipal official. But it's already. The participation is key because you learn from other officials, other cities. You learn from the league itself what you can do, what is recommended, what is available in terms of resources, and what other cities that are doing that are effective and successful. And that's what we want to do. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We want to do better, be better, learn from others, and share with them what we can do. Thank you. At this time, we'll get ready for our special called hearing on the liquor license at the Yellow Store.
So we will be keeping you up to date on progress as we progress on it.
pretty soon now we're going to start scheduling those visits so that we get a better idea of what's available out there.
Mr. Manager, I just wanted to add, the reason we had to revisit it is because we were given a grant, Department of Transportation, and the drawings that came back, they exceeded what was bid within that grant. City manager staying on top of our budget, recognizing immediately we had to talk to the city attorney to make sure we stay within what we can afford. Sure, we can add some, and I'm sure the council would want to, but we don't want to put any additional burden on the budget that we can't handle. So we're trying to be responsible in this. We've been given a grant to do that, and appreciate him following up to keep us within grant range. If we go a little over, that's different. To go well beyond what we have available is not something that we're willing to do at this time. So appreciate you staying on top and us getting some additional options.
Well, good news there is we have a little bit more money with that grant has been increased to $600,000. So that's about a $50,000 increase. So we've got a little more breathing room. So we maybe have a little bit more to look at going forward.
Thank you.
The last item I had prior to getting to the fire department issue number 4 is just to, if anyone missed it, we have a new fire truck out of the fire department. I see a fire department here. And this is a 75-foot ladder truck that does a bunch of miraculous things. It goes 360 degrees, and you can operate the truck by remote. All of you guys been playing with the remote? Did you have a chance to go through it? Yes, sir. Okay, and I understand that there's going to be a 3-week training activity. 3 weeks? 3 days? You guys are quick learners. Quick learners, okay. But anyway, once they complete their training, then the unit will go into service, and the existing truck will be taken out of service. So we're looking forward to moving forward on that. And as I said, if you were not able to make it out or not able to go out, Guy Rhodes here has made it a front page story in this week's edition, last week's actually. So take a look at the Tuskegee News and you'll get all the good details about what the truck does and how it's going to allow us to, number one, to expand our capabilities, our firefighters, and it's going to make us a safer city by having that capability. There are some operations that can be handled remotely now that will make sure that our firemen are not going to be put in peril. So, we're happy about this one. In the near future, we're going to look at another truck. There's a pumper truck in the plan, so we want to expand our vehicle capability there. So that's one of another plan that's on the horizon. Chief Iverson also is looking at a brush truck, a small truck that can take care of small fires and not have to send a full unit out. So a bunch of good things that happen to increase the capacity of the fire department and make sure that we can handle fires without putting our firemen in peril. Those are the 3 things I had. I understand there's a 4th item, so I'm not sure who's going to be the lead on the 4th item.
Before we go to that, I think we should give another round of applause to Chief Iverson and the city manager and the fire department staff. It's almost a $700,000 piece of property that I guarantee the city couldn't afford on its own. So thank you for that hard work, Chief Iverson, Mr. Harper, and the staff. Item 4 we have is an added item, discussion of concerns of the fire department.
Thank you.
Councilman Lee.
I had the opportunity, I think it was last week, to go visit the fire station. Well, first of all, I want to recognize all of our firemen who are here, members of the fire department. I think it's one department in the city that probably doesn't get the recognition they deserve because maybe they're not seen as much as other people, at meetings and everything else. And obviously one of the main reasons is because they're, protecting us. They're at the fire station, they're working, more than anybody in a lot of cases. With that being said, I had the opportunity to visit the fire station on last week, and I had several concerns with just some condition mainly of the station. A lot of the things, might just be minor cosmetic issues, but I think a lot of it, it really affects public safety. Obviously, we have some budget shortfalls here, and money is short, but I think that public safety should be a top priority, especially the fire department. These are the people